It's okay to drink in here.
Pardon?
Is it all right to drink here in the
Oh,
lounge?
sure, yes, yes. We're very relaxed.
How about the Linacre?
Okay, okay, Mark. Wait.
Oh, you're ready to go?
No, no, no,
Oh,
just wait.
okay.
Watch you.
I really have no guarantee that this is really taping.
Oh, that's all right.
I don't have a monitor to play it back, so I believe in my heart that it's taping, but I don't really know that.
Okay, all right. You're probably part of what camera I'm talking about, how live it is.
That would be interesting. Oh, yeah, it's off.
Okay, so the program actually ran, is that right?
Program ran and the finder price was like a
Oh, good. We have another computer, rather slow and old, but would you like to play with it?
When the time comes, sir.
Sure, well, the time might come to these things, so it's try it on. This was the days when people had strong laps. Maybe just, I think maybe just move the copy out. Let me just stand here. This is. It's an earlier generation laptop. Toshiba.
Notes.
Yeah, it used to be the machine that Ben used quite a bit. So until his strength gave out. Yeah, I'll just press, what's happened, it's got a flat battery. So it just needs to have to press F1 to start it up, just to get the thing going. And you'll discover it thinks it's 1980, so you can either accept it as 1980 or type in today's date.
Well, Bigsteps must not take nearly as much storage as I thought. The word big sounds like it takes great big images.
Oh, well, the output files can get huge, but the actual program is, let me just...
Does it use the sysdep data files or?
no, I'm going to talk about that. It just talks about just flat files. So we're going to...
Maybe that was the biggest problem with Winsteps, the sysdep format.
Okay, now this is... The data file structure is very simple for what we're doing for most applications. Let me just... you familiar with running DOS machines? Because you can set up a directory. Doesn't matter what you do with this machine. Oh, in the C drive, in the C directory, there's. Oh, we already have a direct. Oh, that was just in case. David Henry ended up using this machine. I put a directory with his name. Don't worry about that. But on the D drive, there is. Various other things on this machine, like this WordPerfect and stuff like that, which you can run on because they're in the path on the C drive. You can run them. So if you need to, there's probably the DOS editors also publicly on this machine as well. There's WordPerfect, and you can set up a directory and copy the disk onto it if you want to. Okay. Oh, we did. Oh, back. All right. So what we're going to do now is to jump into actually doing things with the program, and basically the way the program itself, from the point of view of modern sophisticated write up a file in the right format. Good. So let's look at it a bit more closely. The control specifications usually have ampersand int as the first line. Now this is optional and just means the start of the instructions, start of the specifications. And this is really historical because this program and its predecessors have been around well, since the 60s. And this particular program, Bigsteps, is the son of Bigscale, which was the son of Nscale, which was sort of the stepbrother of a program called Microscale, which was a program that Ben and I worked on about 10 years ago, and which was the first, let's say, full-scale PC application, PC implementation of a Rasch program, and also the first one that could handle missing data conveniently. We'll be talking about things like missing data and various rating scales and partial credit and things like that. So we have some things in the program that if we were going to start again today would be different, no doubt about it. But we never seem to have time to be able to get back to things and change everything, so we change it a little bit at a time. So ampersand is usually the start of the control specification. You'll notice in example1.com though, there is another line in fact before that, and it starts with a semicolon. A line starting with a semicolon just means this is a comment. So you can put them anywhere you want in the specification area, not down in the data. In the data, it wouldn't understand what comments are, it would think they were part of the data. And in the item names, it would think that was your item name. But up here in the control specifications, you can put comments, which have got one semicolon. If you want the comment to be reported back to you on in your output file, then double them up. So two semicolons. That means this is a comment that I also want to be written into my output file. Some comments are like that and some aren't. So in this particular case, I didn't want to have this comment appear in my output file. This file is example1.com. That comment there is just to remind us where this file is, and I didn't see any point in having that go through the output file. So the first real instruction listed here for the program is title equals. This is still on page 10, and it says title equals Knox cube text. Now, title equals, that's what the program understands. It can be an upper or lower case. There can be a space between the titles and the equals if you want to, or not. And in fact, what you can do is you don't have to spell out the whole word title. You can abbreviate it back to the point where the program gets confused. Now, what the program does is, as long as it can discover uniquely what instruction you're giving it, then that's enough. So let me give you an example. If we turn back to page 96, which is the very back of the manual, you'll see the list of control instructions. What I'm saying, this is just inside the back cover. What I'm saying is all you have to do is to put enough letters in to make the word unique. So for title, which is near the bottom, these are in alphabetical order, so it's near the bottom of the list, you'll see as long as you get to TI, that word couldn't be confused with any other. But just on the very back, you have the word title, which is near the bottom of the list. You can see it says 6.1.1 title equals, and above it there are tables, equals, and target equals. Well, by the time the computer's got to TI, it knows you can't be talking about tables or targets, so you must be talking about title. So minor misspellings and things like that don't cause everything to grind to a halt. And also you'll discover that because of that, sometimes there is some variation in the later letters as to how these things are written. For instance, the people in Germany who use this program write title T-I-T-E-L, because that's the German word for title, works fine. The program says, that's great, I know what that means title. But of course, for the Germans who are writing their own specification file, that's a much easier way for them to think of it than having to think what the English word for title is. looking over to the right here, you see it goes apostrophe, not skewed test, apostrophe. It can be single apostrophes or paired apostrophes. The program isn't mine, but they've got to be the same at each end. But you only need apostrophes around something if there is a blank in it. Otherwise, a blank is taken as meaning the end of something. So if I hadn't put the apostrophes in, the program would have got as far as Knox and would have stopped and said, oh, well, that's what the title is. But because I wanted to have Knox space cube space test, I had to put the apostrophes in. So usually the title is the only place where you do need apostrophes, and maybe on another instruction which isn't in this example but which we'll get to. There's usually only 2 instructions where you're actually wanting to include blanks. There's the title, and this is going to come out on the top of each page of your output to tell you what it was that you did. And remind yourself when you look at this data file what it was that the data file was about. So that's the next instruction. That's the title. Now the order of these specifications doesn't matter. So it's just for your convenience. Because what the program does is it reads in all the specifications and then processes them in the way that suits it. So it doesn't care what order you put these in, it's whichever way suits you or you think about, whichever way is convenient for you. As it so happens, the next instruction we have here is NI equals 18. NI stands for number of items, 18. So there are 18 items on this test. At this point, we might just take a look down at the data part, which is summarized at the bottom of page 10. You can see at the bottom of page 10, it says, Richard M. 11111100000. Okay, this is the data file of the Knox cube test. I made up some of this. Because Richard is the name of the person. This is a person. M is a little bit of demographic information. M means male. Okay? And then the 1111000, these are the responses to the items. Now notice how the program expects to find the data. It expects some sort of person identification, person ID, and it expects to find response strings starting with item 1 and going for as many as there are in the text, in this case 18. That's what it expects to find. Now if your data file isn't organized this way, there is some ability in the program to reorganize your data. But it's much easier if you arrange for it to be this way to start with. Well, some sort of person identification that can be to the left or the right of the response strings, but then the response strings, the responses to the items in order of the items. So the items are numbered 1 through 18, then in the first position of this response string will be the response to item 1, and in the last position will be the response to item 18.
Can you have variable length data or target one digit?
You can, but it gets more complicated. Basically, the program looks at 1 or 2 column-wide data. But it gets more complicated. If it's not uniform, in other words, if it's all 1 column, or if it's all 2 columns, let me just point to an example of 2 column data. Where is the example of 2 column data? On page 22, it says, example 11, item response is 2 characters wide. Gives an example where all the data is 2 characters wide, which is in fact the writing to science data. We'll be talking about both the Knox cube test and the writing to science data quite a bit, but that's an example where the data is 2 characters wide. Generally speaking, for all sorts of reasons, one prefers 1 character wide. Funny, it makes the data set smaller to store. All right, and fast the process, because nowadays on computers, a lot of the time is taken up just reading in and writing out stuff off disk, because the actual process is so fast. So this says there are 18 items in this data set back on page 10. Item 1 means which column of the data record is item 1, is the response to item 1 in? Well, it happens to be in column number 11. And And you can count that across if you want to, because Richard starts in column 1, as this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yes it does. Richard, the word Richard, looking at the data file, is 8 characters long, then there's a space. No, 7 characters. 7. Then there's a space, then there's a name, then there's a space. That takes 10 characters. So the 11th column has got the first 1 in it, which is what item 1 means, the column where item 1 begins. It's in column 11. And the next instruction down, it says name 1 equals 1. This is the column where the first position of the person identification begins, which would be where the R of Richard is, which happens to be in column 1. Now, it's so frequent that the first character of person ID is in column 1, that this instruction itself is optional, name 1 equals 1, because that's the default value. That's the default value because it's just so common to put person ID at the left-hand side, as it were, of the data records, that if you don't specify where it is, the program will assume it. But just so we can be explicit in this example, I listed it here, name 1 equals 1.
And what if you have, say you said name 1 equals 11, item 1 equals 11, barcode is saying...
No. What it'll do, it'll use, what you'll get is you'll get the response string as the person name, which can be very handy, because that means that your output information, you will actually have the response string shown there,
Right.
next to the statistic, which for a short test can be interesting. And there's more instructions. For instance, the way the program works by default is it says the person ID ends when the items begin. But you can override that. So here we'd say the person ID is 10 characters long because it's going to end where the items begin. So it's going to be 10 long. But you can override that and say, oh no, it's not, it's actually 28 long, which would mean that it picked up the person ID and the response string all as part of the person.
Is person ID optional? Or...
You've got to have something. You've got to specify something.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you don't have to take any notice of it in the output,
Right.
but you're going to be given a position. And as I say, if you don't specify anything at all here, it's going to assume it starts in column 1 and just give you back whatever has to be at the front of the data record. Yeah.
The length of the name is not specified here. They just read until they see a blank. Is it?
No. Let me just be, let's give an example where it gives the length of the name so you can see what we're talking about here. Here's an example. On page 13, we have the same data file, what looks like the same data file, but shuffled around. On page 13, which is example 4, if you look at the bottom of the page, you'll see this time, things have been moved around so that Richard N is off to the right, bottom of page 13 of the manual. Okay, so here's an example where in fact the name is off to the right. So there is some doubt as to how long this name is supposed to be. This is page 13 at the bottom. You've got a different version or a different version.
So mine doesn't have a Richard now.
Maybe it's on the, yeah. Use that one. It's, what happens is you probably find your one page out or it probably even says the same date.
Yep, they're different books.
Oh, okay, all right. Right, we're all, okay, so here we have a different situation. We have the name on page 13, we have the name off the right. So you can see it says, looking at the instructions above, on page 13, you see number of items is still 18, NI equals 18. Item 1 is now in column 1, because now the responses are over the left-hand side. Still 18 of them, so there's no problem. But name 1 is now in column 41, because the name is right down to the right-hand side of the page. And then the next instruction under that, it says nam length equals 9. That says we are explicitly telling it how long the name is. It's 9 characters long. Now the reason some of these things are a bit cryptic is because I didn't want to go longer than 6 letters. So this was sort of name length 9 means those 9 characters, the next 9 characters are the person's name. Because we may not know how much more of the data record we're interested in. Could have maybe another subtest or something coming up. or some other irrelevant information we don't want to confuse ourselves with, so we're being explicit about the length of the name, which is 9. For most purposes, the default value, if I hadn't told you how long the name was going to be, the default value is 30 characters, or if the name is before the items, where the name starts. So in that first example, because the item started after the name, I knew that the name was going to stop when we got to the items. And in that particular case, in the first example, the item started in column 11, I think it was. Yes. So the name is going to be 10 characters long. Usually the program makes the intelligent choice, so you're not really having that problem. Yes.
If you have a lot of demographic information that you don't want the Bigsteps to look at and you want to put the person ID, is there a maximum number, number of characters?
Yeah, 30. 30 is the maximum.
Oh,
30. Yeah, you can't specify more than 30. We do. There are some special purpose versions of the program around which have bigger maximums because people specially request it. But in general, there's usually so much on each output line already that they're overwhelmed unless you want to print everything landscaped, etc. All right, but for most purposes, 30 is enough. And of course, from run to run, you can change that. So if for a particular run you want to look at a different part of the person ID for some reason, you can just change the settings here. Back to example 1 on page 10. And we'll just go down a couple more things down here. In a few minutes, I'm going to be getting you to make up some instructions for a data set, but we're not quite there yet. All right, what's the next 2 lines on page 10? It says person equals kid and item equals map. Now, if we get today's handout and look at page 3 of the handout, you'll see it says at the very top, underneath the very top says table 1.1 of QS. Okay, this is round about the beginning of the Bigsteps output, which we'll obviously be looking at in more detail. But then when you look at the next line down, the second line, it says map of kids and taps. All right, map of kids and taps. Well, the default it would have said here would have been map of persons and items. But you can, whatever you can say, personalize the output by changing the word person into kids and items into taps. And that's what's happened on page 10 here at the main. It says person equals kid, item equals tap. So what that's done is it's checked wherever the program, the output would have referred to items, it's going to use the word taps. And wherever it would have referred to persons, it's going to use the word kids. So it enables you to customize the output a little bit. This was introduced particularly for people who were using applications where what they were doing were not items or were not even people. For instance, if you are surveying car accidents, it might be make of car versus time of day or something like that, in which it's hard to think of either one as being a person or an item. So this enables you to customize the output a little bit. The next 2, back to page 10 again, the next 2 instructions relates to two other possible types of output. Remember that there was input, and this is basically what we're talking about. There is the program, Bigsteps, and then there is the usual output, which is written to disk, always goes to disk, but in a format that you could print it directly if you wanted to. We don't really recommend printing the Bigsteps output straight off disk to the printer, because usually you end up with a great pile of paper that you're never going to look at again. Because usually there's only a few bits of it that you're really interested in. The rest of it you can look at on disk and then erase. But that's the main output part. But if, say, the purpose of this analysis is to go into another analysis, for instance, say you're going to take this put it into your spreadsheet and plot it, or put it into your statistics package and run a regression with it, then you don't want all the fancy tables and the headings and all that. All you want is columns and numbers. And that's what the next two instructions do here on page 10. It says p file equals example1.pf, I file equals example1.if. This says write out the person numbers, the measures, the standard errors, the fit statistics, we'll be talking about all those in a little while, into a separate file which we call a p file, a person file, and let's go into a format suitable to be imported into other things like SysTab, SPSS, or Lotus 123, or whatever it is that what other program you've got. Just so this is a sort of intermediate file. You can write it from this, read into that without having to sit down and reformat it. We'll discuss this format more closely, but this can often save quite a bit of rekeying effort. This file can also, in fact, be fed back into another Bigsteps run, and we'll be discussing that. So if you're getting the results from one Bigsteps run, say from one Bigsteps run, you've got the difficulties of your items on your sample of 20,000 people. Meanwhile, over here, you have your 500 people in your gifted program, and you want to measure them separately, but using the same item difficulties you've got from your main sample. Then this is a means of transferring the item difficulties from one Bigsteps run into another one, so you can sort of use it as an intermediate file to transfer information between different runs of the program as well. Now, obviously, we don't need to do all these instructions every time, and in fact, to do this particular run, all we needed to actually run the program was ni equals 18 and item 1 equals 11. Just those two instructions would have been enough to perform this analysis. It just had to know where in the data record the data is, and that would have been enough for this particular analysis. So, but usually we have a list of somewhere between 10 and 20 different control instructions for any particular one. Something around there. Then we get to the word, on page 10 here still, ampersand end. Ampersand end means that is the end of the control instructions. And this is a necessary command, ampersand end, to say, all right, we're finished with the control instructions. What the program expects now to see is as many item names as there are items. And they're just listed in the same order as the items are. So in this particular case, on the Knox Cube test, item number 1, the name of item 1 is 1-4. Now I'll give you a demonstration of the Knox Cube test a little later so you can see what it's all about if you're not familiar with it. But at the moment, all you have to know is that's the name of it. There's 18 different names listed down here, and then followed by the words end names, meaning that's the end of the item name. So it expects to see as many item names as there are, then the words end names must be in capital letters, with or without the space, though I recommend putting the space in, with or without. And so these are matched up with the items, then the data starts. And in this particular case, as we haven't given the program any instructions to the contrary, it expects to find the data following immediately on after the end names instruction with one data record per line, following the format that we gave it above, which is that the person name starts in column 1 and the items start in column 11. And there are 18 items. Any questions on this? I think it's a pretty straightforward layout. All right, I just want to introduce you to one more instruction, which is a very commonly used one. Let me find an example which has got it, which of course which would be a good example. Looking, turn to example 3 on page 12. You'll notice this has, it's called item 3, example 3, item recoding. what we have here is we have a situation where the data isn't quite in the format that we need it to analyze, but it's very close. If you remember in the first set of data we were looking at, the data was already as ones or zeros. In other words, ones for right and zeros for wrong. Now, it was already scored or keyed or whatever you want to like to call it, which is very convenient. But often data isn't in that convenient format. We get it a little bit more rough and ready. Maybe it's the actual responses to multiple choice items, which maybe they have been coded ABCD or ABCDE. And we have to know which of ABCDE for any particular item is the right answer, and which are obviously the others we generally take as being the wrong answers. And maybe there's a code which means the item wasn't administered. In other words, this item is not to be scored either right or wrong for this particular person. Now, in this example on page 12, if you look at the data towards the bottom of the page, you'll see it seems to have codes 2, 1, X, 0. All right. Now, we're not quite sure what those codes mean, 2, 1, X, and 0, but apparently they do mean something. So we need to transform or rescore those codes into something that means more. What we want to do is whatever our idea, our theory is, we want 0, a value of 0, to mean none of it, 1 to mean more of it, and if it's a rating scale, 2 to be even more of what we're looking for, 3 to be even more. So it's if it's our attitude towards our hotel room, 0 would mean didn't like it, 1 would mean fair, 2 would mean good, 3 would mean excellent, something like that. But basically, after we've rescored it, more of what we want, what we're looking for. Now, what we're looking for may be knowledge, or it may be ignorance, may be health, or it may be disease. But whatever it is, more of what we're looking for corresponds to what I'm scored. So here we have an example where in the data file, there are 0, 1, 2s, and x's. And if we knew, in this hypothetical case, what these codes meant, we would be able to order them to indicate more. Well, it so happens that it seems that though this was the original data, what it means in terms of what we're looking for is 0, 1, 2, 3. So in the original data, 0 was the worst thing to happen, 2, 1, and X were apparently the hierarchy, the order of what we're looking for. Now, of course, you say, well, this doesn't make any sense to us. Well, we don't know what their original data collection method was, why they assigned these original numbers to their particular responses. Maybe they deliberately didn't want to queue people, so they deliberately didn't list things in order. You know, some of these psychological things can be peculiar. I don't know what it was originally. So, in order to tell the program to convert 0, 1, 2, and X into 0, 2, 1, and 3, we have to give it a little bit more instruction. So here on page 12, you can see what we've done. Underneath title, says title attest to 25 recoded items. The next instruction says codes equals 0, 1, 2, X. Codes equals means these are the codes that were in the original data. And it's at the bottom of the page. 0s, 1s, 2s, and X's. Then there's an instruction which is NEWSCR. That means new score. That means this is what these codes mean for us. And it means 0 means 0. Bringing across it says 0, 2, 1, 3. This means 0 in the codes means 0 after it's been new scored. 1 in the codes means 2. 2 in the codes means 1, and X means 3. I'll just read down. I could have entered these lines in any order, but I've entered them next to each other to make it easy for me to understand. So everyone see that? So we're going to convert a 0 into a 0, a 1 into a 2 into a 1, and an X into a 3. And then the next line down where it says rescore equals 2 means do this to every item. Because what we could do is we could have selectively rescored items. For instance, it's a common thing on attitude surveys to have some items work one direction and some work the other, in order to prevent people just response setting, to prevent people just going very good, very good, very good, very good, or something all the way down. every so often you slip an item in that works the other way around. So it tells you if somebody hasn't read the question. You know, we ignore their responses because they're not actually reading what the prompts are.
Why does 2 mean all lines?
Rescore equals 2. Because if there is a mixture of some items you are rescoring and some you're not, what you use is you use a string of zeros and ones. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is in fact the default, so I didn't actually have to specify rescore equals 2, because that is in fact the default value. Okay, I think we now have enough information to do a little task. On page 30 of the handout, page 30 of the handout, is a data set. All right, this is a real data set that was really analyzed, and as you can see, if you read on the side, it says figure 1. I'm just reading turn the page on the side, I'm reading figure 1, scaleogram comprising 50 traits and 100 societies. For simplicity, only pluses are shown. Pluses means this society exhibits this trait. The blanks mean, or minuses as they said, the minuses have been omitted, but the blanks on this, we take this data set as being what we got. The blanks mean this trait hasn't been observed. In other words, it's like a plus is right and a blank is wrong. Okay, and then so here we have listed vertically the 100 societies and listed horizontally on their sides the 50 traits, and let's pretend, as that has been done in the past, that we are going to analyze this set of data. Alright? So if you could either by yourself or get together with somebody else, come up with a set of control instructions to Bigsteps to do this analysis. Alright? I think you have enough information to do this, to do an analysis of this data set. Anybody got any questions? Okay, so we'll take, what we'll do is once we've got some together, we'll get a volunteer or a couple of volunteers to write up their answers on the board here, and everybody will have them. We'll do what the Chinese communists used to do, to have a process of critical self-evaluation. All right. Okay. Everyone clear what the assignment is for about the next 10 minutes, which we can incorporate with the break as well. Sure. Okay, wow. Yeah, this is very strange. I'm not quite sure what this means.